is Beth Goncher with the Naperville Area Chamber of Commerce, welcoming Senator Linda Holmes and Senator Don DeWitte. Senator Holmes represents the 42nd District, and Senator DeWitte represents the 33rd District here in Illinois. You both mentioned that you're on the special committee on pensions. What's on your radar for that, or that Illinois residents can, expect to see come out of that committee?
A couple of years ago, we did a good job with the police and fire pensions. And I think we need to start looking at some of the state pensions more in that light, particularly the General Assembly pension, which is the worst funded of all of the pensions. For a number of reasons. So I think there's going to be some looks at that. Now, in 2011, when we ended up with what we call Tier 2, Tier 2 has some serious problems and some serious flaws, and it needs a fix that, and we've all been talking about it needs this fix. I mean, it doesn't even meet the Social Security threshold. In other words, Social Security would have paid you more than what this pension is going to, which violates what the pension is able to do. So that's something I think we're going to seriously take a look at. And again, and I want to say to Senator DeWitte, the fact that you sit on JCAR, which is one of the most important things I think we do down there. And I like, again, that is done, even though we know how lopsided the General Assembly is when it comes to terms of the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. But things like JCAR, as well as what we did when we looked at the unemployment insurance, and it's what we do when we look at workers' comp, is we try to do them on this agreed process. So you have both sides of the aisle working together. And I think, quite frankly, it's one of the best things Illinois does.
I agree. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this work. I spent 2 years on the pension committee with Senator Martwick for the last 2 years. Looking forward to continuing to move forward. Agree with the senator. I think the consolidation of police and fire pensions, even though it created some heartburn on the part of one of those pension funds, I think it was in the best interest of the state. There were 653 separate local pension funds that were all incorporated into one investment process. All of the communities continues to have their individual funds siloed. So at any given time, each one of those 653 municipalities can go to the State Oversight Commission and say, where is our pension fund as of today? People were concerned that some of the pension funds that were highly funded, that were in good financial shape, were going to be used to subsidize some of those pension funds that weren't as proficiently funded, if you will. That was never the design of the consolidation process. An appellate court recently, just last week, ruled that they saw it the same way, that one of these pension funds, and I'm not going to name which one, but one of these pension funds had a little bit too harsh of a view on that process. That's 653 investment houses, accounting firms, 653 attorneys. The savings in overhead the first year, once both funds get invested, is estimated to be over $500 million. And that's $500 million that the taxpayers will not have to fund for these publicly funded pensions. So Senator Holmes is exactly right. I'm hoping, and I've had that conversation with Senator Martwick, to continue that discussion about what other opportunities amongst the other publicly funded pension funds exist that we can take the same type of a view. And, it's the proverbial, how do you eat a 600-pound gorilla? You eat one bite at a time. Our pension debt is over $140 billion. And if we don't start taking aggressive action on starting to eat away at that, even if it's right around the edges to get started, I think we're doing the residents of this state a great disservice. I too look forward to having conversations about how we move the pension process forward in the state. And again, we'll always look forward to working with Senator Holmes on some of these very significant issues.